Well, you'll never know the heartache of looking a grown man in the eye, and he asks, am I gonna make it? And you've got a lie. Well, they call me Doc, but I ain't got no degree. When shit hits the fan, they're calling for me. From bluegrass Kentucky, with red blood on my hands, nobody calls me hero except for my friends. Yeah, they call me Doc.
Hey, everybody, brothers and sisters, American patriots, thank you for joining our show today. Episode number 8 of Sick Call with Doc. I'm your host, Rod Doc Walbeck. I am joined by Joe Misfit Glenn and Brian Devil Dog Roof. Today's a really kick-ass day for us to have such an amazing dude on with us today. United States Marine Corps, life got saved by cannabis, doing great things, saving other veterans' lives. This fucking guy's an OG, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the show, United States Marine Corps veteran, Tom Rand.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, brother.
How you doing, guys?
Tom. How you doing,
Thank
man?
you for having me. Oh, I'm doing great. Doing great.
Awesome. Let's have a great conversation today.
Oh, yeah.
We talked yesterday. I learned about you yesterday, and it was an automatic. The next day, here we are.
Mm-hmm.
It just sometimes things just feel like a perfect fucking fit.
Yeah.
And Tom, I what you're doing to help other veterans is just fucking awesome, man. And I appreciate all you do. Thank you for your service from Joe and I and from Brian.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for your service, brother.
Well, thank you guys for your service. And I'm just doing what I was given a gift. I'm just sharing my gift.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
And we appreciate it, Tom. 100%, man. He like lives our mission. The whole mission of Sick Call with Doc. Tom Rand lives this, y'all. And you're about to hear it. You're about to hear it. And I'm excited.
I know you're a Marine, but and it's really crazy. You're so well verbal. Your vocabulary knowledge is incredible. For Marine Corps status. So
fuck off.
Yeah.
I don't see any crayons in the background.
Yeah, nothing.
You threw those all away when you got out. I guarantee it. And I'm just fucking proud you're here today. Oh, here we are.
Yeah, there they are.
Here we have snacks for the day.
So, yeah, that's awesome, brother. So, man, your story is elaborate and awesome. You can start any way you want to start, especially how you started and what made, as a kid, and what made you go fucking Marine Corps, man.
Well, what made me go fucking Marine Corps, man, was my parents telling me if I get drunk or into a fight in high school in 10th grade, you're joining the Marine Corps. I made it 3 days, third day in the 10th grade. They pulled me out and signed me up for the Marine Corps because I got into a fight. There was no, I'm going to join the Marine Corps and researching it. Nope. It was my father pissed off that he got pulled out of work, that dragged my ass from Reading to Wakefield recruiting station, signed me the fuck up, and I was in Barris Island in October, which is the back tail end of the sand fleas, so it wasn't that bad. And
that was 1981.
Yeah, that was back in the early 80s.
Yeah. Back then, guys.
Right. Yeah, there was no discussion and nothing. But yeah, so I went into the Marine Corps as 0311, a grunt, learned a lot of things, met a lot of people, learned how cheap it was to drink at an E-club on base. I do believe, like, back then it was like encouraged to drink. Like, I'm not saying they came out with an SOP to drink, but they was very encouraged. And that was pretty much the only thing we did was go to Court Street and drink at the, E-Club. That was the thing. Fast forward, I went to Beirut, Lebanon. When I came back from Beirut, Lebanon, nothing in my mind was the same as when I left to go there. I had a lot of anger. I'm not very well at solving problems with the mind and all that. When the Marine Corps teaches you just superior firepower. And all of a sudden now you have to deal with a lot of uncomfortable situations. Like a person ordering a latte at Dunkin' Donuts doesn't need someone to be thinking, I'm going to put a bullet in this fucker's head if they don't get out of my way so I can get my coffee. Like the reality of life was totally different.
Yeah.
You're used to it one way, and now you have to form or become more, of a productive citizen.
Right.
Unfortunately, when they add a pharmaceutical cocktail to an already crippled brain that's going through turmoil, you have a cocktail for disaster. So I went on a 17-year disastrous run with the pharmaceutical companies. And in that time, yes, it started out, I think they were really trying to help, but by the time I went through that 17 years, I was morally bankrupt. And people say, how does that happen? It happens because the pills they give you are so addicting. My life wasn't about living. I was surviving the day those pills were fucking filled. And that's it. I'd have to plan vacations around. Oh, well, I get filled on the 13th. Yeah, we can go on vacation on the 20th.
Right.
But God forbid if you're going on vacation on the 20th and you're not filling until the 22nd, well, there's no vacation. So your whole world becomes a pharmaceutical calendar, which is very frustrating. And if you have the willpower, that's probably fantastic. I somewhere lost the willpower and became a full-fledged, I believe, addict in this transition somewhere along the line. Because if I didn't get my pills, I was very anxious. I was sweating. I couldn't sleep. I mean, the withdrawals were fucking worse than the pain, I think, for taking the pills originally.
Yeah. 100%.
They have you on Adderall, yet they have me on Klonopin. Well, anyone in the industry knows those are two different totally things that just keep banging. And it was just a constant in my head. So fast forward to a guy that loves to fish, go to the beach and go clamming. Holy shit, you're not going to believe what saved my life. People say cannabis? No. It was two older veterans smoking cannabis on Pompanesett Spit that taught me the difference between getting high and medicating. And for everyone out there that think there's not a huge difference, there is a huge difference between getting high and medicating. I personally medicate with FICO and fungi. Those are my two basic medications that I take. I substitute that with smoking and dabs throughout the day just because FICO, well, it makes me tired and I'm not productive. So let's go back 15, 16 years ago. I know, Doc.
You skipped a whole lot of shit, Tom.
Right. Yes, but this is where we're going to get interesting.
All right, here we go.
So now here's a guy that is fishing on the beach that is addicted to pills that fucking hates the world. I'm a very angry person. And Howard and Harold, two older gentlemen, approached me and started talking to me about cannabis. I had no idea about cannabis except for if you sell a bag, you buy an ounce, you sell 3/4, you get a free quarter for yourself, and that was your head bag, and you were happy. You didn't pay for your weed. That was the only thing I knew. You grew weed to sell it to make a few extra bucks. They taught me that cannabis, and it's very hard to comprehend that a plant is therapeutic by growing that plant. And a lot of it stems from you want the harvest to be the best harvest you can, because that's what you're going to be getting high with. Except for between the time they teach you how to plant the seed and grow a plant, a lot of us change our minds from cannabis to medicating.
Yep.
And that was the biggest shocking to me, was like, I was using cannabis all wrong. Like, I would just wait till the end of the day, and then I would just puff back a couple of joints and get high as kite and, basically zone out. When if I take a CBD or a 1-to-1 throughout the day in smaller increments, my aches are gone. My head is in a better spot. I have a better outlook on the day.
Yeah.
So a lot of my life got better because I learned to grow a plant for the horticultural therapy of that plant. And that included just being able to care for a plant. Like before, to me, a plant was just a plant. But once you start growing for, wow, you're going to harvest this and you're going to create your own meds, you're going to make your own Fico or dabs or whatever, you start caring about that plant more about the quality than the quantity.
I think what I've learned so far in doing this podcast, one of the things is how much therapy there is to growing. And there was a moment that happened to me. I was a money cannabis person before, and through doing that, I went from 100 plants to 2.
Yeah.
It changed. All of a sudden, I'm like, I'm better just for growing. And guys, correct me if I'm wrong, Joe. It's about getting back to being in the moment of something versus the past or the future, worrying about what's coming at you for the future, worrying about all your mistakes and all your shit from the past.
Right.
And all that goes like this, and it's just you and your girl.
Yeah.
You and your plant.
Now we were talking about this about being. Yeah, that plant, Tom, I think you mentioned it as well. That plant can help you stay in the present. Now, what that means is you're not thinking about the future bullshit that's about to be happening. You're not thinking about the past bullshit that has happened, that is just over and over repeating in your brain. You're right here, right now, looking at the plant, feeling that plant, understanding what the leaves are telling you, if it needs to be fed or watered, or you know what I mean? Tom, why don't you go ahead and elaborate on that a little bit, man, and what you think it would do to an individual that didn't have anybody to express his feelings with or her feelings with?
Well, again, I was very fortunate because these guys didn't just say, hey, go read a book or go on the internet, because the internet, I don't even know if it was around back then, but I didn't have it. It wasn't part of my life.
I was there.
So what we did was we'd go fishing together, catch some striped bass. Not only would you hang out and cook the striped bass or fillet them together, but then you take the striped bass byproducts and you can make fish meal, bone meal, blood meal, some fantastic compost. While you're out there fishing, let's pull up to the neck or to the point or even to the spit, and you can get some broadleaf kelp. Now, every additive, every nutrient basically has a derivative of kelp. So here you are, you're getting kelp. You have clam shells, lobster shells, oyster shells, mussel shells. You have scallops, crab shells, you name it. You have it on whatever's on the beach. You can use in your fertilizer, in soil. So I was taught to make soil, and it was more like therapeutical. The whole process was therapeutic. We'd go out to the beach to go fish, and you're hanging out with buddies that see you struggling, trying to get off the pills. They're encouraging you every day. They're encouraging, not discouraging like a lot of people do. And that's one thing I hate about social media. There's a lot of discouragement when there's more encouragement on social media. But so they taught me how to make soil better, how to get your soil, how to make the amendments for your soil. Because you got to remember, this is pre-legal days. So it was you didn't want to go into the store and start asking about cannabis use because you don't know how the people behind the counter were.
Well, they didn't have the soils neither. They didn't have all
No.
Fox Farms and all that stuff, man. It wasn't even existent.
No, you'd have to do it like Subcool's thing with
Right.
get all the components and make it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very fortunate, and just listen to Howard and Harold, the way they talk about how they got off their pharmaceuticals and that they fucking smiled and they would be happy when they
Right.
show up fishing. And you're like, what the fuck is wrong with them? Do they have a fucking chromosome missing or something?
Right.
Like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm. Why can't I do that?
Yeah, that's all you
Mhm.
want. You want that. So eventually, and I can't tell you when, on a 2-year period, I went from 34 pills a day to 0.
And how fast?
2-year period.
Okay, that's
A 2-year period.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
people
thank
say, when did it happen? I don't know when it happened. But at some point over that 2-year period,
just slowly.
I actually enjoyed my life.
Yeah.
I looked forward to meeting my friends out on the beach. I looked
Mhm.
forward to going out boating. I look forward to coming home and hanging out with my kids or going to their plays and doing stuff because I wasn't surrounded by, do I have enough pharmaceuticals? And basically it was the opiates. The opiates got a hold of me and they fucking held tight, man. They dug their claws in deep. So if I didn't have enough Percocets that day, you could tell.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Anger, aggression, all that stuff. Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
crazy.
Rage.
Rage,
Fucking.
explosive anger, all those other, things that they say that we have. It was all from them pills.
So
Those
now, think about it. One day you're fucking an angry fucking asshole. The next day, wow, I don't need an opiate today.
Right.
Like, I don't have that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that anchor. I don't have the handcuffs on.
Yeah.
And you go a day without an opiate.
And the pain was less for me, Tom. Can you concur?
Dude, the pain was a lot. I could live with the pain I had because I think a lot of my pain came from all the pills I was taking.
Yep. It exacerbated the pain.
And it made me do stupid things that caused me to work harder to cause more pain to my body because I didn't feel thing. Now, when my body starts to hurt, I take a break.
Mm-hmm.
I don't push it. So those guys, Harold and Howard, I tell you, I can't thank them enough because they taught me how to live again. Like I wasn't surviving. And that is the one thing when people realize that they're surviving and not living.
Yeah.
Got
to flourish.
Thank you for
you
saying
don't
that.
know. You don't know when it happens. Like your life, you stop living and you just start surviving on all these pharmaceutical fogs.
Yeah.
And it's people make excuses for you because you're all screwed up on pills and stuff like that. And my wife and kids, they went through hell. My son, here I am thinking I'm the great dad. My son, after a couple of years I was off the pills, he goes, wow, you really were an asshole when you were on the pills. I was like, what? Here I am thinking I'm the greatest dad ever. You know what I mean? I thought I was a great dad.
You're a dick.
I'm an asshole. So it was a great experience. And I wish I could pinpoint exactly when it was. But at some point, my life went from surviving to living.
Yeah.
And that is when a lot of things opened up for me. I was on that honeymoon stage.
I call it the walking wounded. You guys were like the walking dead, wounded, living dead.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know which way to call it, but you're fucking not, you're not being who you were meant to be when those pills grab a hold of you.
I have a point, Tom. You were saying you didn't know the exact time. I have got it down to a certain point, and that wasn't very long ago that I started actually living. And this is one thing that hasn't even been brought up, I don't think, in any of our episodes yet. Alcohol. I quit. I think I'm probably a year and a half now. I stopped counting at a year. That's because I succeeded in my mind, right? So, but once I got rid of that alcohol, it took a couple of months. But in there, I had a whole bunch of shit that happened in my life. But once I got rid of alcohol, it was just, I don't know, man, everything just made sense. And even the bad things, I understood what to do to overcome them immediately. Alcoholism is a big thing with us veterans. I drank my whole life until, well, a year and a half ago. And I'm so fucking happy I got rid of that bullshit, man. That was killing me just as much as them pharmaceuticals. And together, just do the math, folks.
Yeah, I'm still in the denial stage of my alcoholism.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and I'll say this immediately.
I whittled it down, honestly, from 18 to 20 down to just a few a day, but it's every day. Yeah. But I need my 3 or 4,
I'll be honest with you. I love alcohol. I loved my beer. I have no problem with it. I just can't use it anymore. It's not doing the same job that it was doing. I was trying to escape. Now I got my game on, and so I'm fixing shit. And you can't escape and fix it at the same time. And so here I am trying to live the rest of my life with my for my grandchildren and my children and my wife, coherent. I have to be here, man. I lost a lot of years for them, and they don't deserve any more loss like that. So we're getting it right.
Yeah, man. It's honestly, it's a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you go from 18 or 20 a day, 7 days a week, beer.
Yes. Every day.
I grabbed 3 24s out of work, grab 3 24s just before I get home, and go back out and grab 3 more 24s before I go to sleep, and drink those before I go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
I was either working or drunk for 5 years, 7 years.
Yeah. Yep.
And now I do a million things, and I have 2, 3, 4 beers a day, but I gotta taste that beer once a day, man. It's like fucking,
I get you.
You can't take that away from me too,
Yeah, I know you. I know the feeling.
Could I get a lot more done? Could I get a lot more done in a day without my 2 or 3 beers? I got nothing done with 17 or 18 beers.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not trying to justify a few beers a day, guys. I'm not trying to justify that. I'm just saying my journey so far has been a whittling down of drinking and a whittling up of a real life.
That's exactly how I did it. I whittled down until it was none.
I'm right here now, guys. I used to be here, and now I'm fucking like, come on.
Yep.
I just got to get over.
They have salsas for that. They have salsas for that, Doc.
They have salsa for that, like
a THC salsa. You have one instead of a beer. Next thing you know, you're having 2 salsas, 2 beers. Then you're having 3 salsas, 1 beer.
Oh, seltzers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They do that.
I know when I do have to smoke a little to stay at 2 or 3 or 4 beers.
Yeah.
If I don't smoke, I have a tendency to go too far that direction. I try to keep it to where it's just doesn't control me, but having to go grab it every once in a while is controlling.
Start off with smoking. See how that treats you.
I smoke a lot of weed to not drink 18 beers. Anyway, this is not about me. I didn't mean to go all the way on board.
Yeah.
I just another relatable thing for others to see.
Absolutely.
Don't even get me going on the alcohol. I do believe a lot of the 22 come from just being in a bad situation by yourself without a support system and feeling a little too good from a couple of cold ones.
Tom, did you say you used to drink or didn't drink? I'm sorry.
I was told by the Marine Corps back in '83 that I drank too much, so I had to quit.
The Marine Corps told you that?
When the Marine Corps tells you drink too much, it's time to really take a look at that.
Yeah, it is. I would suggest that's a good time to look at it. Mm-hmm.
And I was fortunate because there was a program Dennis Leary had, Gunny, Sobriety Through Pain. So you got 2 sponsors, but if you drank before you called your sponsors, they would kick the crap out of you. So the first meeting I went to, there was a guy there that looked all busted up. So I didn't know if it was from his sponsors or if he got into a drunk fight or whatever, but it was enough to put my head in check. Where, all right, I'm just going to quit drinking until I get out of the Marine Corps. That's what they want,
Right.
And then when you get out, after you get a few months, few years in, now I say, and I've told myself this for a long time, that when I'm 75, I'm going to buy a bottle of Jameson and drink it when I'm 75 years old. And that's kept me sober, 30, 40 years now.
Wow.
Because I know
good for the weight, huh?
75, I'm gonna have a shot of Jameson, and that's my next drinking that I plan. And that hopefully at that time I don't, but alcohol to me was readily available everywhere. where cannabis has only recently been available to a lot, some people, not everyone. There's people that are out there that, you say use cannabis. I preach use cannabis fungi. Well, they're law-abiding citizens, which I'm not really sure because the laws were written by a bunch of corrupt politicians and fucks, so I don't really follow those. But to some people, they do. So what are their limitations? They have no cannabis. It's not legal in the state. They can't get fungi because, God forbid, a mushroom that helps a lot of us is that's against the law. But pharmaceuticals, they can fill up their prescription at CVS and drive right across the street to the local liquor store and buy a big ass bottle of booze. And just go home.
Yep.
And I swear a lot of people would not be like that if they had the option to try cannabis. Well, a lot of people like cannabis, but they are law-abiding citizens.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah. But
so let me ask you this: being a Marine, you must have got no fishing done with Harold and Howard, because I'm sure you were taking notes, so you didn't get to fish much, did you?
No, I didn't take any notes because these guys, back then it was by your phone. And, they would come by my house and they'd check on me and I'd meet them and we'd spend a lot of time fishing and clamming together. And I wish everyone could experience that, because that bond was just such a wonderful bond. And I wish I took more notes, like you said, Doc, because I probably forgot 90% of what they told me.
Oh, but you kept enough to look what you're doing.
Yeah.
I guess when you're in hell for so long with the pharmaceutical fog, and then you start seeing life and experience life and just the little things in life, like I'd go out with the family to a little league game or something, and I wasn't getting angry, I wasn't getting frustrated, I wasn't upset with people. It was just a really way of living life, and I know mine was because of cannabis. So what does a guy like me do? I got my life back. My wife got her husband back. My kids got their father back.
Amen.
But more importantly, I got my life back. I wasn't surviving. I was actually living. I could do things. So what does this guy decide to do? I'm going to try to make it so that every veteran that wants to try a different way will be able to grow or get cannabis to try it, because it was such a life-changing event for me. Like, I wanted every veteran that was suffering. Now there's 18 million veterans.
Right.
10% of that, 10%, which is 1.8 million veterans, are living in a fog, which I think it's a lot higher than that myself, but say 1.8 million. That's a lot of veterans that are going through what you did, how I lived. So if you can get shine a little bit of light and get a few guys growing, wow, that's all it was. So
they help two buddies, and they help two buddies, and they fucking.
Well, mine wasn't like that, Doc. Mine was just a couple people from the Legion or the VFW would get the bartenders, tell them to get in touch with me, and I would help them. They'd come to my house. We'd learn how to grow. We'd go fishing. We'd go clamming. We'd do everything that Harold and Howard taught me. Then my kids, typical kids, oh, Dad, if you get on social media, you'll be able to help so many more veterans. That is when I lost my comfort zone, because first putting it out there on social media, I was Tom Cape Gardner, because my son was going through a federally funded school at the time, and I didn't want any of my life to affect my kids in a negative way at all. So with cannabis being not totally 100% legal and stuff at the time, I didn't want any problems with my son's schooling. So we started Tom Cape Gardner. Tom Cape Gardner quickly became known as the vet guy, because when someone would post about a light, they'd buy a new light, I would PM them and go, hey, what are you doing with your old light? I don't know, I might sell it, I might just give it away. I don't know. Well, if you want to give it to me, I can give it to a veteran, and I'll teach them how to grow, and they can get off opiates, and then they'll get their life back.
Wow, man, dude, that's crazy.
So now people are getting fucking bizarre messages from Tom, the crazy guy, basically begging, borrowing, and stealing to get lights. Okay, so now I have lights and I have some seeds, but I don't have a bunch of seeds or nutrients. So now we go to conventions as a group of guys, and one of us would distract the guy at the table. The other guys would literally, we'd take the nutrients from underneath the table, off the table, wherever we could, to get nutrients to give to veterans for free because they couldn't afford to buy it. So was it right? Was it wrong? I don't know. But you know what? I was helping my brothers and sisters for free. Did I acquire some products? Probably. Yeah.
It's misappropriation at its worst.
Yeah. It was a trying time.
Robin Hood.
So we would take a bunch of stuff and then we just give it away in the group, our Facebook group. Just whoever needed nutrients, give it away. And then Chuck Riggs from Advanced Nutrients sent us 9 cases of fucking nutrients.
Yeah.
And there's the 3-part one. So it's easy, even for us jarheads, we could even grow. Wasn't those 12-part, Air Force and Navy ones. It was a 3-part. So we got to grow. So over the time frame, I went from just wanting to help back and help my brothers and sisters to where now we got to form a group. I'm getting a lot of donations in. People are trying to help us. So we came up with the idea of let's form a group. What's a good group? I don't know. Patriots Helping Vets, my son came up with, and it just stuck. We're all patriots, and we're just trying to help the veterans.
Tom, this is a perfect opportunity right now. We're going to get into what you've done since I know there's been like this slow, gradual making of who you are today through cannabis, right? It didn't all come overnight, No, you got your life back over time. And so we're going to get into that piece here in a second. I'm going to try to support another veteran. So here's my one commercial for today. And then Brian, if you could take us to a commercial right after, let's help another vet. And then Tom, I want to know from that moment on, brother, the enterprise you have done since then, since that moment. Okay. All right. So this is just a regular commercial. Ready? This t-shirt.
Welcome to Veteran Voice Radio, where we honor the brave and celebrate their stories through music. Tune in to 2 incredible stations, Ranger Rockwave and Simplified Country. On Ranger Rockwave, experience the raw energy of alternative rock featuring talented musicians who are veterans and military family members. Their powerful stories and unforgettable tunes will inspire you and keep you rocking. Switch over to Simplified Country, where the heart of country music meets the spirit of service. Enjoy heartfelt ballads and toe-tapping tunes from veterans and their families sharing their journey through song. Join a community that honors those who serve. Veteran Voice Radio, music with a mission. Discover Ranger Rockwave and Simplified Country at veteranvoiceradio.com, or you can also download the app on Apple or Google and let the stories of our heroes resonate through your speakers. American made, veteran owned, we are Doc Goodbeard. It's more than just looking good. When it comes to your beard, we believe you can have it all. Thoughtfully designed, unique fragrances, and affordable prices. We strive to provide a line of uniquely scented balms and oils that you won't find in other products. Come on, rock with Doc, and remember, it's all about the beard, man. So what do you say? Let's take that average beard and make it badass. Go to docbeard.com.
I'm going to start needing that stuff pretty soon, that Doc Goodbeard.
Yeah, I'm going to have to get a hold of him. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So before the break, I was going to talk about this kid named Brian Zuckerman. And he started his little organization creating T-shirts with his own motto, his own logo and motto. And he's a United States Navy Seabee, who are my second favorite humans on the planet besides Marines. And so I wanted to give him a shout out today. Here's the shirt, guys. And his motto is 0 a day. You know, we always hear about this 22 a day or $44 a day. There's one for Joe. Look at this, guys. This kid has come out of nowhere, and this is a mission of love for him. $0 a day. He makes custom shirts, puts your branch on them, I guess, and they're just sweet. And proceeds, I'm sure proceeds will be going to help veterans, of course, because he's that kind of dude. And $0 a day. These things are so wicked. I'm going to show you one more.
Yep.
He's got a Facebook page called $0 a day. You can reach him there. Grab a t-shirt. It's for a great cause. I appreciate it, y'all.
Oh, yeah.
All
He was a
right.
stellar human being, wasn't he? He had a hell of a mission, too. I appreciated it.
Oh,
For
nice
such a
talking to
young
him.
guy, dude, he's got his head on straight. He got off the opioids. He's got a great story. He was on our show. I forget what episode, 5 or 6 maybe. His name is Brian Zuckerman. $0 a day is his motto. No more.
That's a better number for me. Mhm.
Yeah, it fills right in or falls right in with what we're doing here and what Tom is doing. So, brother, hit us up with the good stuff now.
So the good stuff. So it got known that we would give out free stuff to veterans. So people would even help us by promoting it. And they'd be like, hey, dude, Joe, just if you get an extra grow light, get in touch with Tom, Cape Gardner. He's the vet guy, and he'll get it into a veteran's hand for free.
Mhm.
So that grew to where more people wanted to do it. So we started Patriots Helping Vets. And at the beginning, it was so wonderful. There was no government. We weren't a 501c. We weren't a 501c4. We weren't a charitable organization. We were just a bunch of people without government restrictions trying to help veterans. And it was wonderful. You get a light in, you'd send a light out. Doc, you call me up and say, listen, I'm looking for a grow set or a grow tent or whatever. Fine. Well, let's find you one. We'll get one out to you as soon as we can.
Yeah.
That went from struggling and trying to find the equipment. We went through the Burple era, which was fantastic because people were getting rid of the Burples and buying the cobs.
Mm-hmm.
Then they were getting rid of the cobs to buy the LEDs. All the while getting rid of CHMs and HPSs.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a bunch of older lights, but they started to be expensive to run with the cost of electricity. So here we are. Now we're forming an organization. We're becoming a 501c for a handshake. And we get some lights from a company donated to us now. So now we've gone from just trying to help veterans with whatever pieces we could come up with to where actual companies are actually helping us give equipment to us, give some nutrients to us. We had seeds. We've had seeds from many breeders over the years Battle Farm sends us out tons of seeds. Dank sends us out tons of seeds. We got a bunch from Harper. It's just seeds used to be a huge problem for veterans to get good quality seeds.
Mm-hmm.
And over the last decade, 12 years, you've seen a huge influx of seeds that breeders are, even the guys that are selling really expensive seeds will put a couple packs aside and send them out to veterans for free. You see it everywhere. Unfortunately, and we can get back to that, but a lot of the seeds are, what's your tack? What's your tack? I fucking hate when someone says, what's the tack? The tack is irrelevant. How high of percentage of the THC? It's what works for you as a person. Like my personal is a CBD 1-to-1 mix.
Mm-hmm.
Is the best smoke I can get. It helps me throughout the day. It helps me with my aches and the pains.
Yeah.
And I hope over the next few years, you see more and more breeders actually breeding 1-to-1s and bringing the CBD and the CBG and the CBN in their mix. We grow a thing, Mad Dog 2020. It's a CBG high strain. It makes you feel great. You can go out and do some yard work, smoke a couple of these joints, and you actually feel good. Like your aches and pains will subside. So I'm hoping that, that becomes more of a thing. But so now we're an organization. We're trying to become a 501c3. We're having people donate stuff to us. But now we're becoming a legal organization. The government's like, you can't give out used lights because of the liability. Liability? What the fuck is the liability? Liability is what they're jamming down your throat with every prescription they fill. That's the liability of this, but they won't allow us to give out a used light. So I think we finally figured that out, because now if we can get a release form signed, we can pretty much give out free lights again, used lights. Because there's a lot of good lights that people use one cycle, they realize they can't grow, they suck at growing, or life gets in their way, and they have a beautiful light in the setup that they want to give to a veteran, but they can't. So now we're trying to, like I said, it's like an onion layer. There's so many layers. You take 2 steps up, and then the government takes you 2 steps back. What, Doc?
You can just have them sign a waiver, right? Waivers are there.
Well,
I got one to get in the Navy. Waivers, right?
Yeah, that was a big waiver for you. So now with the release, if we can get release forms, we should be able to go back to giving out some used equipment. And we have a ton of used equipment that we can give out to veterans to get them to grow. Because to me, it's not about just giving the guy weed or giving him FICO. It's getting that person to grow, to be self-reliant. That is so important. Like, you take so much out of the equation when you are self-reliant. Now, I make my own soil, and nothing against you, Doc. I know you're a nutrient guy, but if you can make soil and use teas without the added expense of nutrients, then the bottom line is it's lower, and you know exactly what is in that plant 100%.
Right.
I have chickens, I got bamboo, and I have the ocean in my backyard. So I'm very fortunate to be able to make some quality soil.
I'm all for that as a human being.
Oh, of course.
I mean, like, those are the OG growers, the guys and gals who learn it from the sauce, baby, and get their soils right and amend at the right times for the right reasons when the plant talks to you. Totally into that. But not everybody can be that way. So it's all good, which I'm 100% either way. Whatever's best for you and what you learn and what you do. I'm just here for the guys and gals who can't, Yeah.
Yeah, and that works out great, because that helps people grow better quality plants that they couldn't grow if they don't have the time to make their own soil.
Right.
So that's where I lack a lot of experience with the nutrients and stuff, because it's something I've never had to do. I mean, I just don't use nutrients on my plants. But there's people like Dave and Joe. There's so many people in the group that are willing to help people with questions about, what's going on here, and they can recommend nutrients and stuff like that. So now you start forming a community.
Yeah.
And it was so wonderful to see, like, you teach someone how to grow, and next thing you know, they're making cuts, and they're giving cuts out to their local veterans. Doesn't seem like a lot, right? Well, it's a cologne or two. Well, that's a lot for someone that is so reclusive. All of a sudden, now they're saying, "No, I got cuts. I'll meet you. I'll give them cuts." And you start building a community where veterans feel safe to talk to other veterans about a plant that's making a positive impact of their life. Everyone gets upset about any deficiencies or anything, but a deficiency is actually a pretty good thing for a veteran that's learning how to grow and get off opiates, because that deficiency causes them to wonder, what's wrong with my girl? What do I got to do?
How can I fix it?
And that's when they reach out to someone.
Yes.
Have you ever heard from a veteran that found cannabis? Have you ever heard anybody say, "Yeah, I found that. It wasn't for me. It didn't help me at all. I like the pills and the alcohol way better." Never once have I heard that or seen it.
No, but unfortunately, a lot of jobs and sectors that you are in prevent you from even trying that path. And that's why I hope the C4, when we become a C4 with PHV, that we can start lobbying for more laws to change and to allow cannabis to be grown. Because here we go again with one of my problems. If a state says they legalize cannabis, but they don't allow home grow, that's just a fucking taxation.
That's
There's
control.
no more than that. That's just taxation. You're not allowing the person to get the full benefit of cannabis through horticultural therapy. So I think that's what I really think is the big important part. And that's what drives my mission, is being self-reliant. Whether you're growing cannabis, mushrooms, tomatoes, whatever you're growing, if you're getting benefit from it, I don't see the harm in that. Like, I've never been able to see the harm in it. And a lot of guys, I know in states that it's outlawed and stuff like that, the guerrilla grow, which adds another whole layer of anxiety to your life when you grow illegally.
It does.
And it shouldn't. Veterans and anyone should be able to grow whatever type of plant they can at home. Grow coca leaves for all I give a fuck.
Right.
I mean, if you're growing something that benefits you, where's the harm?
Yeah,
like,
you ain't hurting nobody else. You know?
All these laws we have about cannabis were written by a bunch of corrupt politicians.
Bureaucrats. Yep.
Always, every policy.
And every one of them paid for by the pharmaceutical industry.
Absolutely.
I said what I said. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
all day long they suck.
Yep.
So how do you change that? I mean, to be self-reliant. I've had the Veterans Resource Officer at the state capitol say, "Oh, what you're doing is wonderful." Yet you take all the money out of it.
Yeah.
You take the money out of it. Well,
everything's
states
easier.
Don't want the money out of it. State wants to collect money from somewhere.
Yep.
So I always say, well, those people aren't like me. They're not making their soil. They're buying their soil. So you're making money on their soil. You're making money on the nutrients, lights. If we can't get them lights. You know, there is ways to make money off of people that are suffering, which I don't understand why that's such an important aspect. So for me, if we could have a nation of veterans that could grow whatever they want in their basement or out in their backyard to make their lives better, the day that happens, guess what? I'm hanging up my shirt. I'm shutting down my Facebook. I am going back to living my life, because that would be a wonderful thing.
You know, I'd like to put something in here, man. One thing, it just popped into my head. Through my service, I met a lot of soldiers that were coming up in the ranks that, needed to teach as non-commissioned officers, right? We start teaching. I've seen so many soldiers excel in teaching. It made them more professional. It made them want to be there, and they were really good at it. So when you go out there and you're learning about cannabis, you're in your home and you're trying to figure out how to medicate yourself, right? You're in that cocoon and you start finding shit. The moment you start getting out there and teaching people and doing for others and caring for something other than your miserable moment, everything starts to break away and you start seeing light. You open yourself up to absorb that light, man. God, that's just, you make great points, Tom. And I just, all these pictures keep showing up in my head, man. It's beautiful. That's exactly how I started healing myself, was to teach, to be out there and help and bring somebody fucking along with me. This ain't my journey alone. It's everybody's journey. Let's do it.
And for people that, everything that I've given out and have gotten in donations and helped veterans, and I can't even tell you a number of veterans that I've helped. I've gotten help from every one of them.
Yeah.
Because, you're helping another veteran, and especially when you do it for a handshake, it's just a very rewarding feeling.
Yeah.
I mean, people, and then they'll send you a card or a letter thanking you. And all you did was give them the same opportunity Howard and Harold gave me.
Yeah.
I've never cared about, and this is probably stupid to say, and the lawyers will get upset, but I've never cared about a line, a imaginary line drawn on a map that says, well, I can't help Doc, but I can help Joe because Doc's in a Doc age state. No. To me, it's all about helping that veteran.
Yep.
And that's, like I said, I wish every veteran would be able to just grow a plant and find out the benefits from it. Because to me, be able to grow my own meds, to medicate my own way, to make my own dabs, to make my own FICO. FICO is a huge thing, and we'll get into that in a few minutes. But once we get everyone growing, then we can step on to the next thing. But a lot of guys didn't have a place to go to get grow equipment. They didn't know where to even begin. Even when a state becomes legal, everyone realizes it now. You ain't getting cannabis the day they sign in the legislation that it's legal to go buy cannabis.
Mm-mm.
No, that's just the beginning of the process. And then you got to find a dispensary that sells quality medicine.
Yeah.
You know?
Very difficult. Very difficult.
I think a lot of people are into it for the bottom line.
Yes, they're into it for that Friday and Saturday. They're not thinking about the medicine, even though here in Oklahoma it's only medicinally legal. But they have made it a thing where just come get all the I don't know, I don't even know how to put it, but it's like designer weed. It looks great, it smells great, but doesn't do shit for you. You got to like smoke a whole quarter just to get any kind of effect. That is not how cannabis is supposed to work.
No. I wish there was a way we could get a national program. Any veteran should be able to grow a couple, 3 plants at a time.
Absolutely.
And picking the correct strains or whatever CBD, THC, whatever ones they need. They've got a little flexibility. Every fucking veteran who's ever served, and they've got the veteran credentials. There should be a program where they can grow 2 or 3 plants for themselves, and nobody can say shit. You just pull out your national fucking card with your ID. This is me. These are my 3 plants. Leave me the fuck alone.
Right.
Unfortunately,
and, I'd like to.
What do they care? What do they care? What do they care what we do?
Well, look at Florida, True Leaf. I think that's the big company that they spent. Someone said over $100 million, which is mind blowing, to write the laws to try to have it passed. But nowhere in it was home grow because these people are putting up $100 million. They don't want anyone growing.
No.
They want everyone buying their crappy fucking weed.
Yep.
Yeah. Well,
exactly. Man. And that's true. But I was going to hit on the whole, you were talking about CBG, Tom, and how it just made you feel good, right? And so I wanted to touch on the percentages and stuff of THC. Everybody got caught up on that when it was supposed to be the party size, right? Because that's the psychoactive, make you just lose your mind, right? Cannabis is so much more than that. I mean, that is one cannabinoid in the whole thing. And there's hundreds, right? If I'm not mistaken, I think they've found multiple, anyway. So CBG and CBGA are known to be good for pain. It relieves pain. So when I take my pain away, I got shit to do, right? That is what holds me up is my tightness and my pain, and I can't move right. And so who wants to go do that? But you get a little bit of CBGA in there, you start feeling better. Now, there was also a study that said people with PTSD are deficient in your endocannabinoids. Okay, so we have that endocannabinoid system that receives all this stuff. People with PTSD are naturally deficient. So it just makes sense that the key of cannabis going into your body is going to help you, right? Because you're deficient, just like if you were deficient in magnesium, take an Epsom salt bath, right? It's not rocket science, but they try to make it so difficult for you to understand. Get out there and do your research, folks. These cannabinoids can help you, anti-inflammatory, antiviral, all kinds of shit. It's beautiful. Do your research, folks.
Mad Dog 2020, right
Boom.
here. CBG,
Yep.
They're feminized.
Yep.
The Healing Rose, they donate a bunch of CBD, and they're all CBD products. And one of the greatest things I ever got from them was THCV.
Yes, I was just going to say that.
People were saying a lot of it, the THCV is just THC, not combustion. It doesn't heat up to a certain factor or whatever, but I don't know. I'm not a chemist. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a grad student. All I know is when I do a dab of that THCV, I feel better. Like my aches and pains go away. My head, I get a little energized. I'm ready to take on a few more projects. So
if they just understood how much it benefits, just your regular natural human spirit. To make you want to get up off the couch or make you become more creative or make you take a class to do pottery, whatever the fuck, to get you to a point where you feel that there's hope in the day.
Right.
So lo and behold, I happen to have my notes here on THCV and some things that I thought were really pitching. It said it decreases hyperarousal. All right. So when we go out in public and we have issues with, the public, this helps you bring it down. Again, this is supposed to be really good for PTSD. Strains that are like Sergeant Slaughter or Uncle Ben's from Pop's Baked Beans, or there's multiple strains out there that are super high, supposedly in THCV, that are meant to help people with PTSD. And that's what we're trying to get out to people, especially the veterans, right? Because we know that most of them have it,
Yeah.
Anyway, beautiful stuff. Look up just do some research, folks. You'll be blown away.
Yeah.
Blown away.
And it's another thing that it's a very personal journey.
Yes.
And it's good to have your brothers and sisters along to help guide you, but every journey is different. I have friends that they don't like the effects of THC, but they love CBD.
Mm-hmm.
They love it.
Take a battle buddy with you that knows what they're doing, and helps you through it, or a couple, Harold and Howard.
Yeah.
Find you a couple of Harolds and Howards out there, and for sure.
Yeah.
We're out here. Tom, we're out here.
There's such a enormous amount of just knowledge in the veteran community that even the regular cannabis community, yes, everyone wants to make a living and stuff, but there's a lot of people that will educate you just because of the fact that they realize how beneficial these plants are, and whether it's mushrooms or cannabis. I'm very big on the mushroom thing. I think that's going to be more beneficial to the veteran community than the cannabis. But I
hope so.
I
certainly hope so.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but I think every person, they go to the dispensary, they buy the highest THC, they go home, they have a panic attack. Fuck it, it's not for me. No. That's bullshit. What you need to do is go and get like a gummy, break a gummy in half, try it, see how that helps you. And if that helps you, then you can go down there. When you're smoking, try to take a couple puffs, not fucking go to Pluto, and see how it makes you feel. Like you have to be accountable for some of the actions that you're taking. It's not like you're going to go from 20 pills a day to 0 by just, I bought a bag of weed, I'm cured.
Right.
The fuck you are. The journey's just beginning, and it's a long, hard journey, but it's a journey that the reward is it's life-changing.
You get your pride back.
You get everything back.
No wonder the pharmaceutical company's so hot, man. Their pills are going back on the shelf and not down our throats.
Yeah. How many pharmaceutical companies cure something?
Never.
How many times does a pharmaceutical company come out and say, we cured this with this pill? No.
Polio and the clap.
Right. Well, there you go. See?
Yeah. So that's what they're good for, the clap, guys. They're not good for your soul. They're not good for your soul, and they don't care, guys. They don't give a fuck about us.
They don't.
No one does.
But like you said, Tom,
another program too, by the way.
You said in the beginning that, you felt that in the beginning they were trying to help, but it turns somewhere, like probably when you start getting into the polypharmacy. You take one pill, then you have to take 3 pills for all these side effects over here. That is where I think it gets jumbled. And we just keep being good fucking soldiers, man, and just keep taking the way they're telling us to take them. Like I told everybody before, this is how I almost died, was trying to be a good soldier. Right. What I wasn't doing as a good soldier was thinking for myself, thinking about what I'm really doing, really paying attention to what's happening, and understanding that not everybody has my best interest in their hearts.
Right. But how many guys go to the VA looking for help, and the VA says, you go home, you take these, you're going to feel better.
Yeah.
You go home, and next thing you know, I didn't feel better. You got to take these with those. You got to take those 2 plus this one, and you're going to feel better. It's like you're part of you're like a guinea pig.
Yeah. Yep.
So if you can do that for the pharmaceutical industry, you can do that for the cannabis. That's what I mean, people need to realize, like, what makes Doc feel good might not make me and Joe feel good. Right.
100%.
What makes me feel good might not make you guys feel good. And that's what I get really frustrated when people say, I tried weed and it's not for me.
Right.
You know what? try weed not for the getting high aspect, but for the medicinal value of it, and you might enjoy it and actually learn something and get some relief. Like, to me, CBD, fucking fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Helps with my aches and pains. Like I said earlier, a good 1-to-1 is what I'd like to smoke during the day.
I get
A
it.
veteran buddy of mine, Woody, gave me some Tommy Weeks green crack strain.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, that is a great daytime strain.
It is.
What's a 1-to-1, guys?
A 1-to-1 is it's 1-to-1 is you have a Navy veteran and a Marine Corps veteran. Oh, no, that's not it. All right. So basically, right. It's well, there's 2-to-1, 1-to-1. It's the amount of THC and CBD in the strain. Like some of them, there's 2-to-1, so they'll have 12% CBD and only 6% THC. That's a 2-to-1. Or if it's 10 and 10, it's a 1-to-1. So it's just, it's not just about that high tack, which, hey, I don't mind a nice high tack when I'm relaxing on the beach and I want to, just enjoy the campfire and watch the evening with my wife. Yeah, I'd love to smoke a nice high tack joint. But for my daily, no, I don't want to get that elevated. I want to feel better to allow me to get my job that I need to get done.
Yeah, I'm a reverse ADD person. Apparently, sativas during the day, especially in the morning when I get up for wake and bake, I get my whole checklist done that day. It makes me sativas like Blue Dream and what White Widow, I think, is the other one, and those lift me up. They make me creative. They get me going. Get a smile on my fucking face, and seize the day, right? And I don't mind my outdoor indica later in the evening, and not drink a lot of beers. Smoke my indica and watch the game or hang out with my wife and be a fucking human without being always mad or frustrated with my day because I didn't get all my shit done or whatever. So those two things just work for me. That's all. I don't know if it worked for somebody else, but it gets my ADD in check.
Dude, it's like cannabis is the Lord's Prayer. That Lord's Prayer, how it says, God, give me or grant me the serenity, whatever, accept the things I can't change the shit. That's what cannabis does for me.
That to me is probably the most beneficial aspect of cannabis. Some people call it, this is FICO, fully extracted cannabis oil. That some people will call it RSO. It's just a different way of stripping the properties off the plant.
Right. But you want FICO, folks, not RSO. I can explain later.
So for FICO, we use Everclear. You freeze the weed and you freeze the alcohol separate. Then you combine them into a jar, shake them for 5 minutes, and then we strain it and we boil off the alcohol, and you're left with FICO.
Full extract.
Great herb.
Now this I take every night before I go to bed. Also, cancer patients will take up to 1 gram of this per day for 60 days to see if it helps alleviate the tumors and shrink them or to keep them at least at bay. So
does it increase appetite for cancer patients who have nausea and can't eat?
I'm not sure about that.
Okay. From my personal experience, it gets rid of my nausea. It does. Absolutely takes my nausea away, but I still don't get any appetite. For me, yes.
Right. Now we have the stuff that's older weed, like a year old, that has a high CBN, so it makes people more restful and stuff.
Nice.
The good thing about the FICO is you can make edibles either 2 grams per piece of candy or 50 or 100 milligrams for a brownie. It doesn't matter. So whatever your dose is, you can use FICO and you can actually make your medicine to what works. There was a guy, Adam, in our group, probably 4 or 5 years back. He used to make a 2 to 3 milligram hard candy. They're probably some of the best candies throughout the day because you could just have a candy or two every once in a while, and you get that medicine you needed to keep the aches and pains that way without overdoing it and getting extremely tired. And that's still a battle for me. I mean, I'm always battling how much to medicate with so I don't become that tired. Although at my age, I do enjoy an afternoon nap. I mean, I'm not saying.
Yeah. What's the
I
worst
think
thing
as far as
if you take a couple extra milligrams by accident? You might take a good nap, or you have a good meal,
right?
Yeah, that's about the extent of it.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
you just
about
end up going to sleep. Mhm.
So people donate a bunch of bud, and we have it processed, and we give out FICO to veterans that need it. And we do everything we've done. I have never charged a veteran for anything. We've never charged a penny veteran for any of the grow setups, the FICO, cannabis, whatever we give them. It's for free because they've already paid enough. And there should be no stipulations. That's why we have a problem with some of our donors. Because some of the donors want, follow the page and like the page and tag a person. And we give out stuff with no stipulations. If they want to follow your page, which I would hope that some of them would do, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
But if you really want to donate to help a veteran and you donate to us, we can shout you out as much as we want as an organization, but the veteran that's getting the help, whether it be seeds or whatever, nutrients, whatever, they're trying to just better themselves. They could give a flying fuck about your company getting another follower or something.
Right.
That's fucking right.
Well, it's the honest.
Mine.
Yeah, well, it's the honest to God truth. I know, Doc, you do a lot of nutrients and stuff. And I'm sorry to say, if you donated nutrients to us, some of the veterans wouldn't reach out and just take a minute and say, hey, thank you. You've really helped me grow better medicine so I can get my life back. But sometimes it's just that person is so involved in just getting better. He's not thinking of the big picture on who to thank and stuff. But 90% of those people, when they do become better, all of a sudden you have a very productive person that is one of those guys that sees someone struggling in the group and they'll PM them and tell them, this is what I did with my plant, look like that. Or LST. It's, I don't know. There's so many fucking good veterans that are just shit on because of the anger issues. It's so sad when you see a veteran that's struggling and everyone fucking thinks less of him than that because, he's a trained killer or whatever you want to call that guy. He's a fucking human being that put his life on the line so every one of us can sleep under the blanket of freedom we sleep under. Yet you're so willing to discard him just because maybe he has an outburst or whatever. And a lot of that is the medicine.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Are not having it when they need, when they're supposed to have it, when they run out too soon or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so now they're freaking out and now you're pissing them off and they're trying to be cool. And then they fucking get a domestic or they fucking smash a dude's head.
Yeah.
And now they're in the system and now they're fucked because now it's just a spiral that cannabis can save so many people from all that nonsense.
Right. Yeah. And the problem that we've come up with great ideas to have a rehab where they introduce FICO and growing cannabis and stuff like that. A small program. It would be under $10 million for the state to do this program. But,
heal the person, right?
Yeah, but they don't know. Yeah, but no state or government wants that. What they want is they want a pharmaceutical grade synthetic THC under fucking guidelines and controlled environment. And this is what you need to do. That's not reality. Reality is a guy like us that we're growing a plant that we're going to smoke and try to get better with. It's not in a controlled environment. The government needs to get their fucking head out of their asses and realize you fucked us over so long and so hard for so many generations. It's time to admit that you fucking lied about a plant that has done no harm to anyone.
Right.
Fuck the reschedule and deschedule it and let the states take it up. Because I think when they reschedule it to 3, it's going to create a lot of problems for people they don't even realize because you're making it into a medicinal thing. And that's when I swear the haters of cannabis are going to come out and use those laws and say, well, now you need a medical license and you need to be a, legal, whatever, PhD to do it. So I think the government needs to just step back and just say, you know what, we fucked up. We lied to everyone and we're just going to make it better and allow people to grow a plant. It's a friggin' plant. Like Doc said, grow 1 or 2 plants at home.
Right.
The government should be able to do that. Every veteran should be able to grow. Every person should be able to grow.
Yeah.
And then
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go, Doc.
On one or two plants, you're not a drug dealer in the neighborhood, right? Right. What are you going to make $100? I mean, like fucking, it's not. It's they're. I did an article in the magazine, and I gave it as true as I knew it, and the pharmaceutical companies fucked up, in my opinion. They could have been the leaders in cannabis.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're buying up everything right now in the cannabis industry.
Yeah.
Their money's going there now behind the scenes. No one knows about. Yeah. But I mean, back in the day, they could have been the heroes.
Yeah. I think back in the day, they were the reason.
They are.
Yeah.
Fucking
nuts. Those people.
They all had cannabis in it. It's so weird. Before 1937, there was a lot less diagnosis, a lot less illnesses, and people were living better.
Mm-hmm. It's the original medicine that they had ended up having a battle with. The pharmaceutical companies had a battle with it and made it with a whole bunch of things that people use. I mean, not that I ever used it, but opium. That was something that could have necessarily been, medicinal, but the government wanted to control it. So they did, and anyway, enough about all that bullshit. Cannabis, I love it. And it's healing people. And that's what we need to stick to. Fuck all them people, man. Right. You can't take away your knowledge.
Well, guess what,
guys? The whole mission has been about just helping veterans that want to grow or, try cannabis and do it for free.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And like I said, some donors don't like that avenue. Some they do. We have some great donors. STEM, I mean, they raise thousands of dollars for us to give out free grow equipment every year. Mm-hmm. We have a 501c3 that's for a handshake. It's an agricultural. So no matter where you are in the country, we'll give you grow equipment so you can grow vegetables, you can grow house plants. I mean, you can grow herbs, you can grow whatever you want. Yeah. Because there is a lot of benefits from caring for a plant.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the one thing that people don't realize is that when you have nothing and you're by yourself and you're just sitting in a basement by yourself, not really on social media or anything like that, and then you start growing a plant and it's like you have something that you have to consider. Oh, I got to water this plant.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to trim these leaves. I got to LST. Some of the guys that are in for a handshake, and I know you guys grow cannabis, so you know what LST is, the low stress training. Holy shit, they do it to pepper plants, and you've never seen a pepper plant that, if you've seen it, that's LST. It's incredible the amount of peppers on these things.
Yeah,
like holy crap! Like, and I'm sure they LST pepper plants before cannabis was ever a thing with us. But to me, LST is with a cannabis plant, not a tomato plant or a pepper plant. Just my mindset.
Yeah.
And the good thing about for a handshake, and it's not cannabis, unless if you're in a legal state, but it allows anyone to get to reach that horticultural therapy benefit of feeling at peace and feeling a little bit of, you grow a successful harvest and all of a sudden you're making salsa on your table. This pride that comes with that. You're cooking with the vegetables, the green beans, even green beans. I mean, Doc can even grow green beans. Like anyone can grow fucking green beans. Maybe there you go, right? So and then you cook a delicious meal with green beans. It's you feel good. Yes. Like it's confidence boosting.
It'll be the best green bean you ever had. I promise.
Exactly.
They can call that national program the ESP. The emotional support plant.
There you go. Yeah. So I mean, that's one of the greatest things, and it allows companies to donate money through us to get veterans growing. And hopefully, if the state becomes legal, then they can grow whatever they want in their apparatus that they get.
There are so many veterans out there, guys, trying so hard to help. And
trying to find why should? All right, I have never really cared, and I've said this. I've never cared about the laws written by corrupt people. Unfortunately, a lot of the veterans do. So there's guys out there that want to try cannabis, or they want to try to grow cannabis to see if it helps them live better, but they can't because it's against the law.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
It is.
You know what I mean? If that is the biggest thing that needs to change. And like you said, Doc, 1 or 2 plants. Why can't the government just say federally legally to grow 1 or 2 plants at home? It's not that hard.
No.
You know? And if no one, like, I couldn't make a living growing 1 or 2 plants selling weed. I guarantee you. It's just
There's no way.
it's just not there.
Mm-mm.
But there are ways that you can grow 1 or 2 plants and supply your own meds.
Yes.
You know? So where's the downfall? Pharmaceutical companies don't get any of their money. And the pharmaceutical company is becoming the cannabis companies. Don't kid yourself. The pharmaceutical companies are buying up as much cannabis shit as possible right now.
Yeah.
Partnerships and silent partners. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's why we're happy Joe will be able to keep these seeds going because, you know, once those pharmaceutical companies get a hold of them, every seed is not going to, you'll never germinate another seed with them.
No.
It'll be one and done.
Yep.
You know, and that's sad.
That's a scary thought.
That's why we, as many organizations that can get together to help end the stigma of cannabis, which will help end the 22 a day.
Yes.
You know?
Right.
I think a lot of the 22 a day are people that have just they have a bad moment in the day and they have access to alcohol or they don't have a support system.
Mm-hmm.
And then they think that's the way out. That's the choice, the only choice they have. And that's fucking sad.
They lose hope. Hope is,
you know,
well, we're spreading that light. We're spreading that hope. That's what we're doing this stuff for. So for the audience out there, you ain't alone, folks. You come get a hold of any one of us and we're going to square you away, get you in the right direction anyway.
Absolutely.
If you need free seeds or equipment or whatever, PHV will help you. For a Handshake will help you. If you want to learn how to grow, we give out vegetable gardens in the springtime.
Yeah.
Some great packs of vegetable seeds and for a Handshake if you want to grow your own gardening. And that's fantastic because if you have PTSD, you start a fucking vegetable garden with your little kids and get them involved in it. Holy crap, those kids, it's building self-confidence and the kids are learning how to, you know, solve problems and everything. It's a great family little support system that, you know, what's the harm in teaching a kid how to grow vegetables?
Absolutely.
Thank you for adding that. That's a wonderful thing. You don't think about off the top of your head.
Oh my God. Some of the greatest photos I see on Facebook, a little kid fucking harvesting green beans or cherry tomatoes.
Yeah.
Snap peas, sugar snap peas. My kids and all the kids in the neighborhood would come over to my house because I have sugar snap peas growing in all the containers, up and down the front steps, over by the garden, by the hot tub, everywhere there's sugar snap peas. So when you're sitting there talking to me, if you're hungry, you can just grab a couple sugar snaps or grape tomatoes and, you know, have a little snack while you're talking. You know? Sugar snaps are one of the greatest, easiest plants for kids to grow. You know, like, I don't know. I just think horticultural therapy, there's a lot of benefits. And for a Handshake being able to help with the vegetable gardens, in Joe's group, I think we gave out a bunch of, garden packs.
Oh, yeah.
It was so nice to see these people growing the gardens.
Yeah.
You know, and then you see the kids growing with them, and it's like, wow, that's what it's all about, that type of community.
Yep.
Right now, people think there's a different generation. Like, all right, well, that's the vegetable community, but now we're in the cannabis community. No.
It's the same.
It's all the same. Like, I don't smoke in a small room or in a closed area with kids just because personally, I just don't feel comfortable doing that.
Right.
But if I'm out in the outdoor at the beach and stuff, I'll smoke. And some people have a problem with that. Like, why are you medicating around my kids? Well, you're outside, and I don't think there's any reason to be concerned with secondhand smoke on an outside situation with breeze. But we need to get rid of that. Like, oh my God, they're using cannabis over there, not in front of my kids. Like, right, Doc, you're over there using cannabis. Like, we need to get rid of that stigma because I think there's veterans out there that are taking so many pharmaceuticals a day, which they don't care about any stigma, but they won't smoke a joint or grow a plant because of the either stigma or it's against the law. And that's what really sucks.
Yeah.
You know?
Agreed.
100%.
You know, I wanted to say, Tom, for you and for the audience to hear this, but I've known you and I've known of your groups for quite some time. And I wanted to tell you that you basically became a mentor because you were going when I started the game, when I came into the game. So I've always been paying attention to the other groups out there that have my same mission in mind. And you literally are the mentor as far as the things that for the veteran community, the way to be a veteran for the veteran community, all that shit, you mentor me and many other veterans. And I want to thank you personally right here on this recording or live or however this is. Thank you, Tom, for what the fuck you do. And please don't ever quit. Please.
Oh, thank you, Joe. That means a lot to me.
Amen,
You
brother.
try to get some phone calls, I guarantee it.
Mhm.
What are you talking about? You ain't doing that.
Well, and that's the other thing you have. The haters is the downside, and I don't. We can talk whatever we want to talk about, but I just think the haters are just what they are. They're haters, and
They're gonna be there.
We shouldn't give them life. There's a lot of good people out there, a lot of good groups. Like TJ, I know he's doing some great things over with him.
Yeah.
You got Elton out, Boots, the Buds. They do wonderful things, teaching a lot of people. Wonderful. Just to any Operation 1620, any place that veteran can go and gather and get information and learn about cannabis as an option. It's a wonderful thing. And there shouldn't be any competition between groups because, like I said, there's 18 million veterans, guys.
Yeah.
At most, you have a couple thousand people in your group. You're not even making a dent.
Yeah.
Even as a whole, if we combined all the groups we know of, we're not even making a dent in what the veteran community needs.
Yeah.
So who needs to do that? The VA.
Yeah.
So for every veteran that hides the cannabis use, maybe, you know what? Say, hey, listen, I want to find out about cannabis. Start talking to their doctors more about cannabis. Even in the states that are illegal, find out why they're so against cannabis. And maybe we can start figuring out a way to help everyone to understand cannabis more.
A lot of people don't know anything about it. And so if they don't know anything about it, at my age, I don't know anything about it. I don't need to know anything about it. Well, I promise you, you've been duped your whole life. This is something you need to know about because it can save your life. It can help you live a better life. It can help you be present for your children and your wife or your husband, whoever it is. It's, man. Oh, this was a great episode, man. This is beautiful.
I've seen it help too many fucking people, man.
Yeah.
It's not something. You know what I mean? Like the naysayers can shut the fuck up on it because I've seen it way too much. If it goes through these eyes and into the brain and processes a good thing, it's a good thing.
Yeah. But it also takes money out of the pockets that need to be fed. The government wants their tax dollars. And that's what's sad is they put a fucking veteran's life in front of fucking making profit.
Yes.
It's all about the taxes and the control and the regulations. And it's like, it's better to help a veteran like myself. I was unemployed. I was an asshole and everything when I was all fucked up on pharmaceuticals. Well, now I'm productive. I'm doing things. I'm giving back to society. And so many more would do that if they had the opportunity to get off the pharmaceuticals. All right. So the pharmaceutical companies loses money. Well, I really don't give a fuck if every pharmaceutical company goes fucking bankrupt, those fucking cocksuckers. They have just put poison and they've made it to where doctors want to prescribe poison because of the benefits they get from all the illegal crap that they do. So shouldn't we be more like the pharmaceutical companies and be illegal? Well, no, we shouldn't. But the veterans that are suffering in states that don't allow cannabis is to me, that's just disgusting. Like
it is.
It's a plant, for Christ's sakes.
I tell this story a lot. When I was a Medicaid worker in the local hospitals here, I hopped on, it was years ago. I hopped on an elevator. It was just me and another old man on head of oncology on his thing, doctor. And I said, "Hey, doc, can I ask you a question?" The old guy looks up. I go, what are you going to do when they cure cancer for a job? He looked at me like I was a fucking idiot. He went, it'll never cure cancer, and walked off the elevator. If that doesn't tell you everything in a nutshell, an old man oncologist said they will never find a cure for cancer. Never.
Well, the Rick Simpson, RSO.
He went through the normal medical ways, the pharmaceutical, the X-ray blasts, and the fucking chemicals and all that. But that will never end.
No, but Rick Simpson, I mean, he has over 5,000 people that have claimed that he has helped cure cancer.
I have no doubt.
Okay, so why aren't we doing more studies on that? Well, people say, we are, because if you noticed over the last couple of years, more and more doctors are learning about cannabinoid systems and how cannabis helps cancer and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not being taught in the med schools, which I find it crazy that they don't teach this stuff in the med schools, but they don't. But a lot of doctors are actually searching out themselves because they have that patient that is defying logic for what they were taught.
Yep.
Kudos to those doctors. We need more doctors like that are going, you know what, forget about the pharmaceutical. I want to know how we can help this patient the most, whether it be with cancer, cannabis, or through pharmaceuticals. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I can't make that call.
I can remember, I'll say this to all the doctors who are not wanting to research cannabis stuff. They used to think chiropractic was voodoo. Now there's a chiropractor on every corner. And the reason that is because they're good for your body. They open the flow of messages for the nerves to go to the body the right way. They line stuff up, whatever it is. They've saved my life. I can't tell you how many times. Migraine headaches. Anyway, they were considered voodoo at one time. And now they're everywhere. I say to the doctors, go do your research. You're not stupid. You became a doctor, for fuck's sakes.
Well, see, and that's part of the problem. Okay, so they go to school, they get this education, they start developing a God complex. They know it, you do not. So when I tell you you need this pill, you're not taking cannabis. They act like there's no way that somebody else knows something that I don't. That is where they're
justification for it goes against their whole justification for being here.
Yes. And so that's what they need to get rid of.
There's oncologists that have seen their patients that have used cannabis to shrink.
Right. Now that's the stuff that turns people around. Right.
Those doctors are like, how is this possible?
Right.
And that's what we need to encourage and be more of. Like you said, there's doctors and I hate that God syndrome. I can't stand that. I hate when people thank me because it's not about thanking me. I'm helping a veteran the way I was helped.
Yeah.
That's it. Because if you're in it for the thanks or for the fame or whatever, then you're in the wrong game.
Yeah, wrong place, man.
It's disingenuous. It's disingenuous to me.
So I look at it as one, my state is legal. I can grow, I think it's 12 plants or 6 plants each or 12 plants, whatever it is. But in Massachusetts, and this is a little hint to all you Massachusetts residents out there that are growing, if you grow over 12 plants, it's a misdemeanor. And in Massachusetts, they don't issue search warrants for misdemeanors. So put that in your pipe and smoke it.
There.
You know?
Yeah.
Here on Sick Call with Doc, we don't usually give out a lot of legal advice. We're not doctors or lawyers.
Yeah.
But no, like, so in Massachusetts, I've seen the legalization of it. I've seen the benefits of it. I mean, we have job parties where a bunch of guys will come over the house with different harvests that they had, and you talk shit about everyone's grow, and you sit around the campfire and smoking it. What's the problem with that? You're not out at a bar and stuff like that. You're having a cookout at someone's house, just enjoying life. There's so many benefits of cannabis in the veteran community. Because personally, I'd rather hang out with veterans in a controlled campsite where we're having a cookout, smoking cannabis, than in any bar.
Agreed.
You know, I don't want to be with a bunch of veterans in a bar because that is just that can go sideways. So quick.
Yeah. 100%.
As long as there's more than one Marine in there.
I can attest to that.
Yeah.
That's factual. Yes.
You know,
one Marine's fine. Two, not good.
No.
Doc, you have reached your Marine joke. There's no more for you. You have reached your quota for the day, bro.
All right. Well, with that, Tom, dude, thank you so much for coming on, man. I hope to God we reach one person for you, man, or more, you know. So we're talking Patriots Helping Vets. We're talking For a Handshake. Who do you want to contact you about that? People who have stuff? For sure.
Either ones. If you have stuff to donate, contact us. If you're a veteran and want to learn about our programs and how to go down this path, contact us.
Yep.
Kick ass. Another shout out for Zero a Day, David
Oh,
Zuckerman
yeah.
on Facebook.
Yeah.
Another shout out to the Veterans Canada Community Facebook group. If you're a vet, come check us out. We'll hook you up. We'll take care of you. Misfit Farms has got all kinds of good educational videos to show you how to grow a plant. Very kick-ass videos for you. There's help everywhere, veterans. Brothers and sisters, there's help everywhere. Give us a call. Reach out to us. We'll help you.
Hell
We
yeah.
were there for you then. We'll be there for you now.
Yep.
I appreciate you guys. Thanks for joining. Take care, man. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Good, guys. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.